Welcome to the Manifesting Latina podcast, where you'll learn to unlock your incredible power of manifestation and connect deeply with yourself. I'm Dr. Norma Reyes, your guide and host, helping you manifest a life filled with purpose, abundance, and inner wisdom. Together, we'll dive into the art of manifestation, practical techniques, personal growth, and the magic of aligning with your deepest desires. No more feeling stuck or disconnected. It's time to awaken your inner manifester. Embrace your spirituality and create a life that truly resonates with your soul. Tune in each week to the Manifesting Latina podcast and begin to manifest your dream life. Hey everyone, welcome back. I am so excited to have this episode for you all because it is all about why your manifesting is not working, why it has stopped working for you. I'm going to start what happens in the beginning and why it works, and then common reasons why it stops working. So first of all, if you are new here, I'm Dr. Reyes. I'm a licensed therapist in the state of Texas. I am a spiritual and manifesting coach. And if you are interested in one-on-one coaching, send me a DM to learn more on how we can get started. So now back to today's episode. The initial excitement of manifestation really gets you in this high vibe energy. Think about the time when you first practiced it and you were like, wow, like this really works, right? And partly it works for two reasons, because it is new, it's novel, you're going to have a really high energy. And if this is the first time or first episode you're listening to, go back and listen to my episode about vibration and energy and how that is how you manifest. So when you are new to manifesting, it's exciting. And then the other reason why it works is because you aren't expecting it to work. You have detached from the results. So you're like, well, I'm having fun. It's playful. This is exciting. And so when the novelty has worn off, it's harder to manifest because you're not having that initial super high vibe. You are also not detached to the result, right? Because when you're manifesting, when you're learning how to manifest, you might be manifesting small things. And even if you manifest huge things, because I will tell you guys, in 2019, when I first started, I was just really dabbling with it and really like, oh yeah, this and this and this. I literally had wrote in a post-it how much I was going to be making in the next 6 weeks. And I accidentally did my math wrong, but somehow a whole lot of things transpired, and then that's exactly the exact amount that I wrote down was a raise that I got. So in 2019, I had finished my PhD and I was going to request a 5% raise, which I did. I asked my boss. My boss said yes, submitted it to HR. And I already knew, because I was the leader at the time, I already knew that when he submitted that it was right in the middle of raises. And so because it had to get it pushed back until after, and there's no retrograding it, right? But because of that, I ended up getting a bigger raise. So I got my usual annual raise plus the 5%, but the 5% to the bigger raise. So that's why it was a bigger raise. And I have no idea how I accidentally wrote the number because I was doing it in reverse, right? But anyway, when you are new to manifesting, and we are always manifesting, so more like when we are more aware of our ability to manifest and our ability to actually manifest in the way we want versus just allowing life to throw us around. When we are intentional with our manifesting and we just begin, it's kind of like beginner's luck, right? Or maybe even a placebo effect in the early stages where you just kind of don't really expect it to work. You're not putting a lot of pressure on it. You're not putting a lot of pressure on yourself, and you're not overthinking it. It just is going on. And so this is why when you first started to even dabble into this, you're like, oh yeah, this is so exciting. Now to the common reasons. Last week, I went to the Y for the first time with my baby. He's now 4 months, and I dropped him off at Child Watch, which was this whole ordeal for me. It probably took me like an hour to leave the house so I could be mentally prepared. And then as I was locking the door, I'm like, shit, I forgot to put deodorant on. I'm like, no, I'm not walking in because the baby was already in the van. And it's time to go. It's time to roll. I'm like, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna do this crazy workout. Who cares if I stink? Like, I'm at the gym, whatever. Took him and I'm there on the treadmill and I'm like, oh, because I remembered a DM of someone saying they wanted to manifest better. And I was like, just had the epiphany there as I'm walking and trying not to think about my baby. I'm like, oh, it's because they've burnt out. They burnt out. You burn out. Like with anything that you do, you can burn out when you do too much. So if you are doing too much in your manifesting routine or doing too much in trying to manifest, meaning like you're doing all of the things. And if you are doing all of the things and nothing is working, it's time to take a pause. And this is not a take a pause from everything, just take a pause from all of the things, all of the practices and rituals that you are doing that feel like work, that feel like work. So let's say that you have a whole list of things that you're doing. Maybe you're drawing a card, you're journaling, you're meditating, you're, I don't know, using crystals, candles. Like there's so many different things, so many different practices that I have my clients do over time. I never have them do everything at once. I never have them, looking at their tarot cards and astrology. And astrology is a lot. I walk them through it, but I just give them tidbits of what they need to know for the month versus, hey, here's your chart, learn this and learn that. I just know that it's a lot, it's overwhelming. I know the first time I looked at my own chart in 2019 and it was just like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and close that door. That's too much for me. Now I can look at a chart and I can actually read it. It's learning a new language, y'all. So don't feel like you're not getting it because you can't get it. It's because it is learning something new. It's a brand new language. But when you try to do all the things, you're basically burning yourself out, right? You are putting way too much energy into tools. So that is something, if anything, I want you to remember that these tools to help you manifest are only tools. They are tools to get you in alignment. They are tools that get you in a higher vibration, but they themselves are not going to create the manifestation that you want. They are not magic. They are tools. And yes, I will call them magic sometimes because it feels like magic. It feels like a miracle. It's exciting to feel that way, but they are still a tool. And if that tool is depleting your energy, then it's not serving its purpose. All of manifesting tools should help you feel higher vibe. They should help you get to a calm state. So if you are burnt out, take a step back, look at all the lists of things that you're doing in regards to manifesting, and be like, okay, I'm going to pick two things. I'm going to pick two things. And actually, I just had the conversation with the client last week, which was pick your things that you want to do. Look at your list of things that you like to do. I want you to pick three, and the goal is to do one every day. Pick three that you want to do that day, and the goal is to do one. And if as you try to do that, right? Because what happened is when you burn out, you'll just stop doing them, and that's not going to be helpful because you're trying to manifest, and if you're inconsistent, that's the other thing, right? So you get burnt out, and then you go into lacking consistency. So manifestation does require regular practice and commitment. But if you are doing way too much, it is hard to stay committed, just like anything else. So back to going to the why, instead of jumping into like a full-blown workout, which again, I was too overwhelmed with trying to get there in the first place that I didn't even think about a workout. But once I got there and left the baby, it was like, okay. And I had an idea of what I wanted to do, which was walk on the treadmill and do the Stairmaster. I'm not currently running yet. This is my third baby, and I just want to make sure that my pelvic floor is all good before I start running. But I do want to try to run. I actually not try. I do want to do a half marathon in December. So We'll see. We'll see what happens because I really want to protect my pelvic floor more than I care about running a half marathon this year. And so I told myself I'm going to walk, and I didn't bother like trying to overdo it. The goal was to take baby and not have a breakdown and work out or try to work out. And that I achieved. And I got on the Stairmaster and it was great. I did 10 minutes. I loved it. And then we were done. And baby was ready for me to come back and get him because he was hungry. So burnout happens when you do too much. And when you do too much, then you cannot be consistent. So another reason why your manifestation may have stopped working is because of waning belief, meaning that your belief, your doubts, your limiting beliefs are creeping in and they are undermining your manifesting power. So if you are like, well, I don't feel burnt out and I'm doing this consistently, then it's time to look at your beliefs. Do you really believe that you can manifest what you are desiring? Or do you have little self-doubt, little limiting beliefs that are creeping in? And the way you can know that this is going on is that if you start to write any affirmations about what you are manifesting, and you start to say, but, blah, blah, blah. Or you start to argue with yourself. Let's say that you're saying affirmations like, I'm a millionaire. And the first thought that comes to mind is like, but I'm so broke. And then you say like, oh, you argue with yourself and you're like, I'm a millionaire. I know that even though I don't have money right now, I'm a millionaire. Like whatever you start arguing with yourself about, like that's the true belief, right? When you start just to say the other thing, that's your true belief. And so it's time to start working on that belief. Okay, I'm broke. Okay, what makes you feel broke? Well, I can't buy the things that I like to buy, or I can't have entertainment like I would like, or we're having to not do a lot of the things we used to do. So when you are ignoring the limiting belief or the self-doubt, you're not actually processing that thought or taking out whatever emotion is in there, because honestly, it's going to be your emotion that helps you manifest. So our logical brain, your logical brain will tell you one thing, and it will tell you you can do this because you can, and then you don't, and then you start to basically doubt yourself, right? You start having trust issues and you stop trusting that you can actually manifest what you desire. So it's like this whole downward spiral that happens when you stop believing in yourself and you are not addressing your limiting beliefs. That's what's most key and most important. And you have to keep digging and digging and digging. And I still do this too. Constantly have to do this. And sometimes that is also very, very exhausting. So you might do it, for a few days. And then you find that it's been a week since you last journaled, or it's been a week since you last thought about what you needed to work on, to uncover, to let go. And know, like, this is work. This is deep emotional work to get to where you want to be. If it was simple, manifesting simple things, it would just be like logical steps. You'd be going with life. And if you're listening to this podcast, you are wanting a big quantum leap. I know you do. And that's why you listen to the podcast, because you want an amazing life now. You don't want to wait 10 years for it. And you can have your amazing life now. So listen to this. The next one on my list here is emotional blocks. I love how all of these fit into each other, right? So when you're waning belief, you may have an emotional block there and you have to work through it. So unresolved emotions and negative energy can create barriers to manifesting to what you are wanting to desire. And so emotional blocks. And this may not necessarily just be towards what you're trying to manifest. Maybe you have a lot of stuff going on at home or at work or with family, friends, whoever, and you have a lot of emotion that is not being processed. Start processing your emotions and you begin to release those blocks. Start writing down what you are feeling to be able to manifest. Next thing is inaction. So simply thinking about your desires, simply thinking about what you want isn't enough, right? It's not a magic spell that'll just work on its own. It is steps, right? The spells, the incantations, the prayers, all of those things are ways to send your message to the universe, and then it's time to take action. Now, if you have been taking action, on the flip side, then you need to rest. If you've been taking so much action and you're not getting anything that you want, it's time to rest. And when you rest, allow yourself to be, allow yourself to feel whatever you are feeling. Don't try to logic yourself and be like, you shouldn't feel like this. You're ungrateful. Be self-compassionate. And if you're acting too much, take a break. Now, the last one here is misalignment. And if you go listen to my episode about beliefs, desire, and vibration to manifest, go check that out. But misalignment. So your desires and actions may no longer be in alignment with your true self or your goals. So what does this mean? Maybe you have been wanting to manifest a raise at your company, but you no longer actually want to be at your company anymore. So the reason you're not getting a raise is so that you can then start looking elsewhere for work. So just try to hear the messages that you are getting. So when I decided to leave my 9 to 5, and there's many times that I'm like, oh, I should have waited longer. I should have saved more money. I should have done this. I should have done that. When I was at the moment of like, I'm done, I talked to my husband and, we found out we were pregnant. And it's like, well, should I wait? Should I wait till after I have the baby? And at that point, I did not feel like I could work at my 9 to 5 anymore. I was so mentally done. It was so mentally draining that I had no energy left to focus on my business. And I really wanted to grow my business and have time freedom. And I do. And there are still moments that I think about it, right? Like, oh, if I hadn't left my 9 to 5, we would have more disposable income to do more things this summer. But what I get instead is that I am at home with all 3 boys this summer, and I do not have to work while they're home with me. And I don't have to tell them to leave me alone. And I don't have to tell them that I'm in a meeting or I'm in a call. And I don't have to wake up exactly at 8 a.m. to log on to work. And I don't have to just have an hour lunch break to where I try to squeeze in time for them and me. And as much as it pains me not to have extra funds to be able to do things like go on vacation, I get to stay home with them. We have a home. We have everything we need. We have more than what we need. And if I just focus on what I don't have, if that's what you're doing, if you are focusing on what you don't have, you are not ever going to have more of what you do have. So in order for me to be able to manifest what I'm desiring, it is really looking at that. If I keep looking at what I don't have anymore because I left my 9 to 5, I need to look at what I've gained. I need to see what I've gained. So you need to see what you've gained. What have you gained by taking the actions that you did? What is it that you are desiring, and how can you focus on that more versus on what you don't have? But if you keep focusing on what you don't have, then go back to those emotional blocks, right? Which is something that I also need to do. As I'm talking here, I'm like, that's what I need to go do. I need to go process that unresolved emotion that I had with my 9 to 5 so I can manifest, right? Because even though I have manifested opportunities when I left my 9 to 5, like I had speaking engagements and I got clients and all of these things. And then I had my baby in January, and I definitely feel like I've had some blocks, even though my income has been increasing each month. I still am not having the leaps that I'm wanting, right? Like, so it's like, okay, well, what is keeping me from having those leaps? And I know logically what it is, but I haven't allowed myself to fully process those emotions. Part of it is like, if I had a full caseload now, I would have to be working, right? So sometimes our subconscious gives us what we truly want versus what we think we want. Yes, I would like to have more disposable income. But what I really want is to have time with my boys this summer, because that time is precious. They're only little for a certain amount of time. So when you are getting something different than what you are wanting logically, you are in a misalignment. And so you're not seeing the actual thing that you're receiving instead, right? Which I'm receiving time with my boys. And I need to reflect on it, right? I need to see what's going on and then process that. Like, that's what I wanted last summer. I wanted to be able to have more time with them. And now I do. And I'm thinking now it's like, oh, but I don't have any money. Well, I do have time. Time is money. And I have time to enjoy that with them. Now I just got to look for ways and be creative in ways to use my resources that don't require a lot of money, which is another reason why I got the Y membership, because I can take them to the Y, which they truly enjoy going to. I can actually take them to any Y in the city. So maybe we'll have some fun adventures and explore different Ys this summer and not have to worry about like, oh, I got to rush back to work. But I could just take them, they have fun, I get a workout in, it's a win-win. And they get tired out, hopefully. And I don't get tired out, hopefully, if that makes sense. So take time to re-listen to these things, and I'll say them again, to these common reasons why your manifesting has stopped working: burnout, lack of consistency, waning belief, emotional blocks, inaction or too much action and not rest, and misalignment. So not aligning with what you truly want, your true self wants. So go ahead and reflect on this, see what's going on for you. Journal about any doubts, fears, or negative emotions related to manifesting. Evaluate how consistent you're being. Are you committed to a daily manifestation practice? And if not, is it because of burnout? Is it because you don't have a way, you're not actually tracking it, and then you don't even know? And if you don't have a habit tracker, please start one and see. And if you need one, send me a DM, because I have one you can use for free. And yeah, that is it for today. And send me your DMs. Like I said, if you are interested in one-on-one coaching, I will be taking clients on in a few weeks, maybe starting in July and August, if you're listening to this episode in 2024. But I'm always open to new clients. Send me a DM so that we can chat and see if I am the coach for you. Happy manifesting.
Thank you for listening to the Manifesting Latina podcast. Did you love today's episode? Please help us grow by leaving a review, sharing with a friend, or on your social media. Let's spread the abundance and fun of manifesting.